Blessings, everyone. This is BioQuantum Unplugged, and I was kind of sitting in what was going to come through today, and it's coming in pretty loud and clear that we're going to talk a little bit about these next 10 to 11 days as we moved into the 8-8 portal and also the 8 days that follow. So, kind of just give you a little structure for today. I'm going to start with just a message, and then we're going to allow the Astra'Luma frequencies to come through and do a transmission, and then we'll open it up to channeled questions. And whenever it feels complete, it'll be complete. Otherwise, we will also we'll end right at the hour. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of go into the message here of these next few days. So the message is really focus on moving. I'm going to put the word identity there into a waveform. And so what I mean by that is that when things start to come up, because we want to invite things to come up that are ready to be cleared or dissolved or ascended, if you want to put that word, all the same, right? We want to move into a frequency beyond the limitations. And this 10 days as we lead up, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the day August 6th in particular, because there's a really cool thing that's going to happen that day that's going to really help open up the vessel. So the idea is to observe the programs that are coming up. It may be pain in the body that starts to release. And the way I want you to see it is that it's just moving out of your system. So it's not about creating a story around it. And one of the beautiful things I love about when we're in these portals of ascension, if you will, is that we're very aware that when things come up, that we're in a clearing process. And so it helps knowing that to not attach to them, make stories about them, as all we have to do is observe and allow them to neutralize. And if you need support with that, calling in the loose Scott 33, doing some DMT coding with the copper card, simply asking for the support to release it. And if it's ever too intense, we get to ask for the volume to turn down, right? That's always something we get to do. And so just know that that's available for you too. The other thing I wanted to talk a little bit about is the message that I have been given from the Astra'Luma is that on August 6th, specifically, that there is a sacred trinity that's happening with the coding of that day. And the message that they gave me was that that is also, ironically, if you want to say, or I guess not, because we're in the field of synchronicities and magic. But that day is also the day that DQ starts. And so they are going to come in and do a 20-minute transmission to clear out the vessel for the portal, but also for the receiving of DQ with the loose Scott 33. And the message that they gave me was that that 20 minutes is going to be as or equal to 2 years of linear processing. So if you can think about how long it would clear to work on something and clear something, it can be multiple things, that 20 minutes is going to equal to, I'm getting chills, oh my gosh, 2 years of linear processing. So it's going to be a really amazing experience. And the biggest thing is it's going to allow for those, sorry, it's just like, it's so overwhelming. That's going to allow the body, the particles of the body to release into a waveform and move it into the frequency of possibility and pure source energy. And then through quantum coding and the quantum equations, they're going to bring the highest frequency of those particles and then collapse them back into the form of the body in this new frequency. So that's just to give you a little sneak peek of what that transmission is going to be, and it's going to be a 20 minutes long. So just stay tuned for that because that was very exciting. And then of course that will lead us into the A8 portal, which we do have a free event that day that everybody's invited to. So I hope that you'll join us for that. And that will, of course, be the portal where we will hold the frequency of that clear channel and bring the body into pure alignment. And we're not going to talk a lot about what we're going to do that day because we'll find out when we get there. But the thing I wanted to focus on is also the 8 days that are going to come after. And the biggest message was that in those 8 days is when the coherence of that open channel of the frequency that was activated in the body begins to realign reality in that space. So it's a wonderful time for, yes, manifestation, flow, magic, and abundance, and inviting in the experience of how you prefer to experience ascension. And that was one of the biggest messages that I received, is that we get to decide how we want to experience this. And I feel like in the old paradigm, we so often think that ascension has to be hard, or we have to have all these symptoms. And yes, all of that can happen. But when we're in the experience of that, that we can ask to turn up the volume, to turn down the volume, or to have a different experience altogether. Okay, so we're going to move into the invitation here is for the first clearing that leads up to the portal here. And I'm going to go in and we're going to invite in that the frequency. There will be a quantum equation that will be downloaded into the spine, and I'll lead you through that so you can just move into a space of receiving. After that, I will stay in a channeled state, and Angie is going to support any questions that maybe will come through. So just stay tuned for that as well. All right. So just give me a moment.
So can I mention when she or they open it up to questions, it would be preferred if you raised your hand and spoke your question, but if you don't feel comfortable with that, you can put it in the chat, but we'll get to that at the end so that I can just help moderate.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. And then also, if you are interested in looking into the DQ class, Angie's going to put that link in the chat as well. And I won't go too much into that, but the biggest shift that's going to happen in that is that we will go into the quantum mechanics and break down the body through equations in a way that we haven't experienced before. But I can tell you, I have been experiencing it, and it is, I don't, beyond words. I can't. It's just too much. But it's not. All right. We'll put that aside, and now we'll move into the channeling. Okay. All right, my loves. We want to invite you to bring your hands into the position with all your fingertips touching. This is open a sacred channel for your body to receive the frequencies of this first equation. This equation is running through the spinal column, and in this space, releasing specific frequencies to allow the grid system of the body to move into a higher spin state, allowing density, limitations, limiting beliefs to be brought into this higher spin state and released. And through this first transmission, we are activating the first quantum code. Kinti to go to so go today seke whoosh kanana let's go to rai say kera. Komana na de kyo to grona kitsikiri tik to mana na 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 kyo to ro na 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 ko she ko gona na ka kanana na. Use ko to home pom patiki city. And now placing your first fingers on the third eye and on your sacral chakra, or just below the belly. Feeling the quantum code as it moves up and down through the spine. Allowing that frequency to begin to move into expression. You could see it just like a light blue light extending out through the spine. Iseka shoko rarena na katege to no kitsi ke shoko. Rock and tongue kirwato wasai dada yitkam bashira don to kodaro. Radaring to run a kit of kodoro no the stick to go shokron tongue take the rakit home. There's any specific frequencies you are wanting to release, now is the time to gently put in the intention. And just by bringing it into your awareness, we'll now bring into a higher spin state the density of the body. Hise kokona nakasa korore katum, whether cases to kochogondo kodona take down. Wosokodo to chida take kokodon, krochogodon. Take it a kosh. And then bringing your hands back into touching the fingertips. And just taking a moment to allow that frequency to move into coherence. Feeling all of the cells aligning with the frequency of this quantum equation. Feeling it running through the synapse responses of the mind and of the heart. Activating the electrons of the body. We're now going to release a specific frequency from your DNA technology. This is a frequency that will support holding this coherence, allowing clearing to happen with ease and joy. Usake Shilwaronako so Kodo Doksi Shanamenana Kako Shororo to Kenmati. So Kororo to Katati Titoran and then Anna to Kotchako. Rusticate that's a Kororo no to Koruto. As a little Skodum. We say Koro. Say Koro. And then placing your hands on your heart space. Taking a moment, witnessing the shift. And we are now here of service to any that have a question or a request.
Yes, Kate.
In a lot of spiritual teachings, they talk about that we come into embodiment with contracts, and that at this time we can ask to be released from those contracts. Could you talk about that?
This is so absolutely true. The contracts are no longer needed. The frequency of the planet is at a spin state where contracts will dissolve. They are only there if the belief system is there. Contracts are there to give the ego an understanding of a lesson. But as we move into these higher frequencies, the lessons are simply a shift of awareness or focus. Meaning, when you move into a lesson, you see the frequency, and then you choose the frequency that you prefer. By focusing on the frequency that you prefer, or simply the experience that you prefer, you begin to shape reality around your preference. It is no longer needed to go and clear karma. Karma does not exist in the field or the frequency of the new human experience. It is simply a belief system. Karma was put in place to feed the ego a level of understanding. But what we will say to you now is that this understanding creates looping cycles. It does not actually do anything but give the ego entertainment or simply a reason. But the reason does not matter. It is the awareness that matters, the awareness of what needs to shift. And this could simply be, I see that this is a frequency that is not serving, and I prefer to move into a frequency that does. This allows coherence into a reality that is holding the frequency of evolution. Where you put your consciousness will create the reality. So it is a choice to be in a reality of karma or contracts. You can simply ask, what is reality beyond contracts? Stay open and curious. And when a contract or a frequency that you perceive as a contract comes into your awareness, you can simply say, I choose to experience what's beyond the contract. And the contract, or the reality to where you have agreed to a contract, will dissolve. The mastery is holding consciousness in the new reality that unfolds by asking for what you wish to experience. Thank you for that question.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miriam.
Yes. So thank you for that last one, because that's what I was getting to, and that's great news. I'm finding that even though it seems like the techniques are very simple, I have a brain injury and some PTSD coupled with just losing my stepfather. He's passed on, and it's like a whirlwind that's going on, even with family dynamics. So there's so much anxiety coming up that it seems hard to even do simple things. Well, maybe it's not that simple to hold consciousness in a new place that we're not used to, but I'm just wondering if you have any support or suggestions when your internal system is so shaky to stabilize.
Yes, we need to upgrade on the nervous system. The nervous system can be upgraded. We will work with you today, but on your own, we want you to use the codes, the DMT codes 2815. As you're using the codes, you're going to place them in the kidney area and then let them run through your system. As they are running through your system, allowing the frequency of the nervous system to raise. We're going to do this for everyone right now because the nervous system is most important to have at a high spin state or high frequency. So we'll bring in the frequency of the evolution technology. You do not need to understand. Just know that we are running it through the system. We'll start by running it in the heart space, going into the hydrogen atom, connecting to the hydrogen atom of all the molecules in the body structure, the water. And activating within the control center of the DNA, the upgrade of the nervous system. We're releasing this frequency, the sacred equation. Okon teke choko ra ke ko na kan to ke che. Releasing from the DNA running the nervous system in this quantum equation, allowing stillness. And we'll invite you to bring this frequency through the breath. As you breathe in, allowing the quantum equation to move into all the molecules of the body. And then breathing out, allowing all stress or density to release. These next 10 days can be very, very powerful for fully releasing the old structure or the distortion of the nervous system. It is so much more powerful than the day-to-day human will experience in this two-strand DNA system. We would like to activate the frequency to experience the power of your innate being. What the nervous system has the ability to do. It is an electric light system. It holds the intelligence of walking this earth in a frequency beyond the third dimension, where it can perceive reality from the fifth dimension. This is only one simple step. It is a bridge between the density and the crystalline experience of the body. So in this next breath, just breathing in that frequency again, knowing that each time you breathe with intention, this quantum equation will realign your body, activating the higher operating system of your nervous system. And as you breathe out, all the density and distortion. And just taking a few breaths, even if it's just 10 seconds, allowing this quantum equation to realign and restructure. And then allowing your consciousness to be reinformed. There is the need to release control. So as the breath realigns the body, it is your job as a conscious human to know that the release of control and the surrender, the submission to the frequency is your innate being. It is a quantum tool that is always there. The choice. And we will close the equation by amplifying and intensifying. Resekerono shoko, retekeruko tumbanage toko, resekaradan toko tehi. We bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stephen?
Hi, yes. You said karma was just the ego's distraction or reason for being. Would New Earth embodiment then turn to dharma for the ego to integrate, or is there something else? I ask because I feel like it's been used. My ego has been used and abused by projections for quite some time. I'm not really sure how to get out of it, even if I don't know my purpose, would it still be appropriate to think of it that way, to replace karma with dharma?
The words really have no meaning. The message is to allow the frequency that is building inside of you, the frequency of your innate being, that source frequency, to lead the way. This could be simply just by being still. To move into the frequency of the new human experience. It is to quiet the mind, not search for purpose. The purpose is in the stillness. The purpose is to be still enough that you can learn to listen to an intelligence outside of the programmed reality, programmed mind and body. What this experience is will be different for everyone in the beginning. But our offering to you is to know that within the stillness, the presence, this is the practice, this is the purpose. From this place, all becomes clear, all questions are answered. You hold the most advanced technology there is. And the confusion is the observation of a distorted reality. To move within and learn to attune consciousness to the purest frequency there is. That's force frequency within your DNA. You will learn that the stillness is not still. It is intelligence. It is the ability to take a reality that's in distortion and bring it into a state of bliss, clarity, and guidance. So our offering to you is to go inside and stop searching, stop looking for the answer, stop looking for the purpose, and learn to be still within the frequency. And then the guidance will show you the way. You are the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Brittany?
Hello, thank you. I'm thinking of how I want to articulate my question, and I'm going to move outside of the mind so that it can just come through. I've observed in myself an increase in my ability to drop into my body and out of my mind, but there is still a strong tendency for the mind to grab the reins, and the steadiness of this remaining in the body is still fluctuating quite a bit. There's a part of me that believes that it's just a habit that I can clear, that it's just a belief of the way that I believe I have to operate that I can let go of. And I'm wondering if there's any perspective or practice to clear that you would recommend.
Yes, we do have an offering. When you feel that you've moved into the mind, pay attention. Pay attention to the thoughts. What we are picking up on is that the thoughts are still important. So instead of just letting them ramble, pay attention as they come through and know that underneath the thought, there is a message. It's the ability to see thought in a new way. So as the mind comes in, it's looking at the mind and asking, what is underneath the thought itself? Most often, you're going to find that the thought has a message. It has information to be perceived, not through the mind, but through intuition. This will allow you to move into a state of observation and then click into the space of using your intuition to receive the information beyond the thought itself. This is a new way of practice and will allow you to master thought in a new way. It is not about denying the mind, but knowing the mind in a new way. Because the mind, when it moves into a multidimensional state, has access to information that is very powerful. So in the lower levels of thought, it is just an entryway into what is beyond. And when you can honor thought in that way, you will find that thought is a gateway. Thank you.
Thank you, Brittany. Tina?
Hello. Years ago, I lived in an environment that had mold, and I found my way through it, and it affected my body, but not very bad. I'm back in a situation with mold, and it seems to be overwhelming me. Um, and there's a part of me this mold keeps showing up, and I wonder if there's just a part of me that needs to learn how to not let it affect, like get out of the mind part, because somehow I believe the mold won't affect me if I really am in a different place. And I'm wondering what you have to say about that.
This is so true. This is true, true, true. But if you're in a place of resistance or fear, it will affect. So it's transmit the frequency of the body to hold above the frequency of the mold. When your body moves into an expression of frequency, all outside interference cannot penetrate, cannot disrupt, cannot distort. We are going to suggest that you code your water. Code your water with the frequency of 963. You can do this by simply placing a spoon and creating a vortex and asking for the frequency of source to activate. And then as you're drinking the water, shutting your eyes and allowing that frequency to turn on your 12-strand DNA system. This will align the water molecules of your body to hold this frequency. It will also support the cells. And then be aware of when you're moving into a thought pattern that is not serving the frequency of the body. You can also spray the room with this water, asking that all of the environment be held in the frequency of source. We always recommend being in an environment that supports, but if we do not have that choice, then we can ask that the environment shift into a frequency that is supportive. Having this be your preference, and then witness the shift, but not limiting what that shift may be. We hope that this is helpful.
Yes, because I felt like some mold keeps showing up because I need to learn something out of it. So yes, that's very helpful. Thank you.
Your lesson is to know that you are more powerful than your environment.
Yes.
And you do have that power. Yes, yes, indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. I'm going to read 2 questions from Lisbeth, and I'll read them together. The first one is about Earth timelines of spiritual progression. Where are we in the timeline? How are we doing? What can we expect in the next 5 years? And a second question is, do the strands turn on one at a time or all 12 strands at once?
You can see the 12 strands, and this is directly related with the timelines. Because you're in a space where consciousness focuses on one state or frequency, you will experience it at one at a time. But as all 12 are already active, you will begin to experience consciousness multidimensionally, meaning you know all things, but not in a linear timeline. This will be the experience over these next 5 years, that timelines do not actually exist, and consciousness will begin to move into a frequency where it can experience time beyond time, meaning you know all things at one time. You may have the experience through visuals and knowing in the body, but most importantly, know that all 12 strands are already active. The experience of that is where you're holding consciousness. This is why learning to use consciousness as a tool is most important. Learning to attune allows the programming, the limitations, the density to release, and allows consciousness to move into the frequency of all that is. You are a biofield. You are the quantum field. And as you begin to experience the body as the intelligence or the source frequency and expression, reality will shift. The way you observe will shift. So where are we on this timeline? Consciousness as an individual will be that of the individual. Consciousness as a collective will be informed by how many of the individuals learn to master this. But we will say that you are way ahead of schedule. The ascension process is speeding up. What used to take years to accomplish is happening within minutes, hours. So rest assured you are right on track. All is well. Thank you.
Thank you. Fleur.
Hi, thank you for the transmission so far, all really resonating and feeling very helpful to me. I was wondering how to, with things particularly like with the idea of showing like the lesson being like being more powerful than one's environment and also like one's 3D circumstances. Quite often I feel I've made a shift with this to a greater sense of alignment and presence, but I still often feel the pressure of the 3D when it's showing me an undesired reality or something particularly to do with physical things, physical body. I'm wondering if there is anything more I could be doing with that, what I should be doing to help this process.
You'll have to remember that reality is simply an observation of where you are holding consciousness. The first step would be asking, is this the experience I want to have? And if it's not, asking for the perception to shift first. A shift of perception allows new realities to easily align. Perception shifts allows the resistance to reality to dissolve. So asking for the higher perspective. After perspective has shifted, you can move into the frequency of desire, opening your heart up to allowing to you explore what you do prefer. To start with the shift of perspective, move into a state where you allow desire to open up a new state of reality. This process allows the density of the reality you do not prefer to move into a frequency where your preference is more aligned. Once the desire has been brought through, you release and move into stillness, allowing the listen and do, allowing reality to shift. And each time you move back into a frequency of the reality you do not wish to experience, you simply ask to shift perspective. We'll do this over and over and over again until you are in coherence with the reality you prefer. It is not about resisting. What you are resisting is just a distortion of how your consciousness is perceiving the reality itself. It is an opportunity to ascend Ascension through perspective. And the perspective cannot happen through the mind. It happens by staying open and curious to what is beyond what you are perceiving. We hope this is helpful.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Fleur. Sandy?
I'm very grateful for what has been shared, especially the interchange between you and Fleur, because it was very helpful to me. I experience density as weight in my body, and I would like to know if there was a sacred code that I could be activating that you would offer for lightness of being and living in in my quantum body.
The first is to not deny. The weight of your body is simply an illusion. As you deny or resist, there's shame. Shame will pull the body into density in ways that we would like you not to experience. For this reason, we are going to do the clearing of shame. We would like to release that frequency of shame. The awareness of shame will be your gateway of ascension. The body cannot move into higher frequencies when it is shamed. Why shame this sacred channel, this vessel? This is your question. Knowing the body as a sacred vessel. We release the frequency from your DNA to guide you, to let you know how sacred this vessel is. It is an intelligence. We would like to bring the cells of the body into a high spin state, to where the honor of the experience of this vessel is experienced from the frequency, the intelligence of Source. We will release the quantum code. Ke kon te choko fei siki chokong. Risiken. Allow that to move through the body. Sacred One, it is time to release this battle of feeling like control, limitation, and shame is a way of controlling a vessel that is ready to show you the way. Allow it to guide you. This code will support that guidance. Love your body as an expression of Source. It knows all things. Bless you.
Bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. And Raul has a question. How can he shift into the frequency when fear shows up from the nervous system?
The quantum code that we gave earlier will help with that. When we start to experience the nervous system as a control panel, it no longer has control over us. we have to remember that the nervous system in the two-strand DNA system is connected in to the primal experience of the third dimension. But when we begin to use fear as a gateway, knowing that when fear is triggered, it is a signal that the nervous system has moved into the environment or a thought pattern that is simply triggering this two-strand DNA experience. This is a signal to the consciousness to use the nervous system as a control panel. And this can be done simply by moving your consciousness into the fear itself. See the fear as an attuning tool. You can even visualize a keyboard with intention, placing this keyboard within the control center of your nervous system, and place the code 5129. We'll upload this code for you now, and then you can simply ask to have the experience of peace, stillness, knowing that within 5 minutes time, the nervous system will be fully activated. In that moment, allow the nervous system to guide you. There's nothing to do with the mind. It's to begin to experience your body as a technology, just as you would a car, a computer. You use your consciousness to create the shift, like simply turning on the engine. And once the engine is turned on, it will run. This command, the co-creation, the evolution of your body will start by prompting, by asking for what you prefer. The experience of your nervous system at higher frequencies, the practice of this when you are feeling good, will support your consciousness in moving into this higher experience of the nervous system when you are not. Soon, consciousness will be fully attuned to the power that it has. Then you will be the driver of the car and not the other way around. Thank you.
Thank you. We have time for one more question. Jane?
Hi, thank you. Yes, it's been great to hear what others have had to share. And even the email was like a frequency vibrational raise for me. I am experiencing a voice in my head that says, I ought to be able to use all the tools from the BioQuantum Foundation and not need the Ormus that I bought and haven't used yet. So, one, I have resistance. And two, could you speak about how to use the Ormus for healing bodily pain?
Yes, Ormus should not be a resistance. We don't like to use shoulds, so it's an invitation. Invitation to experience a multidimensional element. See the element as a co-pilot. It is there to support the co-creation of consciousness. We invite you to just put a few drops in your bathtub. You do not have to put it on the body. You do not have to ingest. You just want to be in the field. It will begin to speak to you. Ormus is an activation of the DNA. It is the activation of the quantum body. It is a multidimensional gift. Until you feel the invitation is ready to be received, then simply wait. Wait until it's in alignment. When you feel that resistance fades, you will know it is time to bring it into your field. It may not be time. This is not about forcing. It's about waiting for the resonance. Having said that, sometimes we need to look at what the resistance is showing us. Sitting in the resistance, if it is fear, where is the fear coming from? Does the fear or the resistance match the experience? We are picking up on just a little offering, and that is that Ormus is an amplifier. It will change the way you perceive reality. It will change the way you perceive healing. It will even perceive your body. And just asking in this moment, are you ready to have that experience? And if it's a yes, sitting in the resistance and inviting the Ormus to bring in the frequency of coherence, so that when you do choose to have the experience of the Ormus, that it will come from a place of readiness. Ormus will guide you in ways that we cannot offer you at this time. It is something to be experienced. Words do not match. And when you are ready, you will know. Thank you.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
We have 8 minutes left. Thank you everyone for all of your questions. Just want to invite Jules to stay in the field or come out of the field. We have a little bit of time.
Thank you everyone for, oh my gosh, they were the most amazing questions. I'll have to go back and listen because I don't always get to hold everything. But in these last few minutes, if anybody has anything that they would like to ask or connect before we get off.
I would like to ask Debbie. I believe she had one question in the chat that we weren't able to get to, but since we have a couple of minutes, Debbie, would you like to speak to your question?
I don't know if she's talking or
I don't know either. I can't find her.
if she,
There, okay, I'm on here
there you
now.
are.
So, I experienced I felt like I was in a very high vibration. I was at a sporting event and I felt, I mean, I had done my Ormus, I was connected, I was playing amazingly. And then I went to go towards the space and I tore my hamstring. um, anyway, I went right into that pain body, although I kept saying, you know, I'm Lou Scott 33 during the whole process, and it was quite a painful injury, but I'm healing, and I'm healing exceptionally well, but at the same time, I know that Jules, that you had experienced a spine or something with your spine, and then you healed it instantly.
Gosh.
And so anyway, I was just curious your thoughts. I mean, I felt like I was in a high state of being when it happened.
Okay, so I'm not gonna go back and just gonna mute you, Patsy. First put the Ormus on it. I don't know if you're doing that, rub the Ormus in. That's
Yes.
exactly what I saw. I would even take a bath with it.
Okay.
So put some drops in your bath. And okay, so this is such a powerful thing. So ask to activate the time, if you want to put that word timeline, or the frequency grid system of the body as healed,
Okay.
right? Because your body is a wave, is particles, there's waves. And so what we want to do is bring the particles into a spin state of healing. And you can do that just by asking. And tonight before you go to bed, just that's the invitation. And there's like an equation that wants to come out. I'm just gonna email it to you.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you. I know that even the pain I was in, that I was still staying in my higher self when and after it happened. It was quite remarkable experience. But I mean, oh, was it painful? But at the same time, I felt like a higher frequency right even from the beginning of the injury. So
I was gonna say that, but now that you just commented, I will say it out loud, is that there's a gift in this of experiencing your own mastery. And
okay.
so know that it's all in divine.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thanks so much.
All right, everyone. Well, I know Angie is gonna throw up the DQ link one more time. It is at a great price right now, and uh, I will hopefully see you all on the 8/8 portal. That is a free event, and you can go to our events page to get on that. If you're on our emails list, you will get the Zoom link that way. Okay, everyone. Love you so much.